September 11, 2017. Monday Night Football. U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. The Vikings are opening their season against the New Orleans Saints, and the whole country is watching. Quarterback Sam Bradford drops back. He finds his man on a crossing route and fires. The receiver hauls it in, turns upfield, and picks up a chunk of yardage. 9 catches, 157 yards. No touchdowns needed. The guy just carved up one of the most talented secondaries in the NFL like it was nothing. His name is Adam Thielen, number 19. And by the end of that Monday night, he was a household name. But here is what you did not see. You did not see the years he spent invisible. You did not see the practice squad reps with no cameras around. You did not see the day the Vikings cut him. And you did not see what it took for a kid from a town of 9,000 people in northern Minnesota to become one of the best wide receivers in the NFL without ever hearing his name called on draft night. This is that story. Adam John Thielen was born on August 22nd, 1990, in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. Not Detroit, Michigan. Detroit Lakes, a small town about 200 miles northwest of Minneapolis. The kind of place where Friday night football is the biggest event in town. Adam grew up in a sports family. He played 4 sports in high school: football, basketball, baseball, and golf. And he was good at all of them. His golf team won the Minnesota State Championship in 2008. But football was his first love. Growing up, he idolized 2 Vikings legends, Chris Carter and Randy Moss. He would wear their jerseys in the backyard, running routes against nobody, pretending he was catching passes in a sold-out stadium. That part matters. When you understand where he came from, you understand why he never quit. As a senior at Detroit Lakes High School, Adam helped lead the Lakers to a 9-1 season. He was named All-Conference and All-State. But the big college programs did not come calling. No scholarship offers from the Big Ten. No Division I interest to speak of. For a kid who could do everything on a football field, that had to sting. So Adam stayed local. He enrolled at Minnesota State University in Mankato, a Division II school in the Northern Sun Conference. Good program, good coaches. But this is not Alabama. This is not Ohio State. NFL scouts are not flying out to Mankato on a regular basis. After redshirting the 2008 season, Thielen worked his way into the lineup. He caught 21 passes as a freshman. By his sophomore year, he was starting every game, leading the team with 686 yards and 6 touchdowns. He earned all-conference honors. Junior year, 62 catches, 715 yards, 5 touchdowns. He also handled kick and punt returns. Then came his senior season in 2012. Thielen exploded. 74 receptions, nearly 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns. He helped the Mavericks go 13-1 and reach the NCAA Division II semifinals. Over 4 years, he finished second in school history in receptions and receiving yards and third in touchdowns. But here's the thing about Division II. No matter how good you are, the NFL does not trust it the same way. The competition level is different. The speed is different. And Thielen did not receive an invitation to the NFL Combine. That is the main showcase, the job fair for the draft. He was not invited, so he found another way in. Thielen attended a regional combine in Chicago in March of 2013. He earned a spot at the Super Regional Combine in Dallas the following month, and that is where he turned heads. He ran the 40-yard dash in 4.45 seconds. His 3-cone drill time of 6.77 seconds would place in the top 20 at the NFL Combine itself. The athleticism was real. The tape was real. But the draft came and went, and Adam Thielen's name was never called. All 7 rounds. 254 picks. Nothing. A lot of guys in that position either quit or scramble for any opportunity they can find. Thielen did not have to go far. The Vikings invited him to their rookie minicamp on a tryout basis. He impressed the coaching staff enough that they offered him a contract. On May 6, 2013, Thielen signed a 3-year deal worth $1.48 million as an undrafted free agent. His hometown team, the same franchise whose jerseys he wore in the backyard as a kid. But signing a contract does not mean you have made it. Training camp is a meat grinder, especially for undrafted guys. The Vikings already had established receivers. Thielen was fighting for one of the last spots. On August 31st, 2013, the Vikings made their final roster cuts. 18 players were let go. Adam Thielen was one of them. Think about that. He had done everything right. For years of domination in college, strong combined numbers, a solid camp, and the team still said, not yet. But the very next day, the Vikings signed Thielen to their practice squad. That is NFL purgatory. Folks, you practice every day. You prepare the starters for their opponents. You get paid a fraction of what the roster guys make. And every week, you wonder if today is the day you get released for good. Thielen spent the entire 2013 season on the practice squad. He never suited up for a regular season game. He ran scout team reps. He kept his head down and grinded. Then came 2014. Thielen showed up to camp in the best shape of his life. He made plays in the preseason on both offense and special teams. And this time, when the final roster was set, his name stayed on the list. He had made the 53-man roster. His NFL debut came on September 7, 2014, against the St. Louis Rams. He did not light up the stat sheet, but he was there, on the field, in an NFL game, the kid from Detroit Lakes, the undrafted free agent who got cut. For most of that season, Thielen's primary job was special teams, and he embraced it. In Week 13 against the Carolina Panthers, he burst through the line on a punt block, scooped up the ball, and returned it 30 yards for a touchdown, his first NFL score. He was named NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. Then in Week 17 against the Bears, he caught a 44-yard touchdown pass from Teddy Bridgewater, his first receiving touchdown. He tossed the ball to his fiancée, Caitlin, in the stands. 2015 brought more of the same. Still primarily a special teams contributor, Thielen earned the Vikings Special Teams Player of the Year award. In the regular season finale against the Packers, with the NFC North title on the line, Thielen lined up for what looked like a punt. Instead, he took the snap and ran 41 yards on a fake. The Vikings won and clinched the division. But Adam Thielen did not want to be a special teams player forever. He wanted to catch passes. He wanted to prove that a Division II kid from a small town could play wide receiver at the highest level. And in 2016, he was about to get his chance. Heading into the 2016 season, Adam Thielen was still low on the depth chart. He had proven himself on special teams. He had flashed on offense here and there. But the Vikings had other plans at wide receiver. Stefon Diggs was the emerging star. The roster was set. Then, early in the season, Diggs went down with a groin injury and missed time. Thielen got the starting nod in Week 5 against the Houston Texans, and he delivered 7 catches, 127 yards, a touchdown, his first 100-yard receiving game in the NFL for years in, and he was finally showing what he could do with real opportunities. From that point forward, Thielen never looked back. The coaches kept feeding him the ball, and he kept producing. Week after week, he was reliable. He ran crisp routes. He caught everything thrown his way. He did not drop passes. According to one tracking service, he dropped only 2 passes on 92 targets all season. That kind of consistency gets noticed. Then came Week 16. Christmas Eve, 2016. The Vikings traveled to Lambeau Field to face the Green Bay Packers. And Adam Thielen put on a performance for the ages. 12 catches, 202 yards, 2 touchdowns. It was only the 5th 200-yard receiving game in Vikings franchise history. The most receiving yards by a Viking since Percy Harvin back in 2011. By the end of the season, Thielen had 69 catches for 967 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns. He led the entire team in receiving yards. His catch rate of 75% ranked in the top 5 among NFL wide receivers. Pro Football Focus ranked him as the 18th best receiver in the league. The NFL's own website named him the Vikings' unsung hero for the year. And here's the part that still stings a little. Thielen needed just 40 more yards in season finale against the Bears to reach 1,000 yards. He did not get there. Finished at 967, 33 yards short. But the message had been sent. This was no longer a special teams guy who happened to catch a few passes. This was a legitimate NFL wide receiver. On March 15th, 2017, the Vikings rewarded Thielen with a 3-year contract extension. Real money, real commitment. For a guy who was on the practice squad less than 4 years earlier, that was validation at the highest level. And then the 2017 season started. Monday Night Football. The New Orleans Saints in Minneapolis. Remember that game from the top of this story? 9 catches, 157 yards. Sam Bradford threw for 346 yards and 3 touchdowns that night, and Thielen was his favorite target. The Vikings won 29-19, and Adam Thielen looked like one of the best receivers in the NFL. That game was not a fluke. Thielen kept it rolling all season. In Week 10 against Washington, he went off for 166 yards and a touchdown. In Week 11 against the Rams, he had 6 catches for 123 yards, including a 65-yard touchdown reception. By Thanksgiving, in a win over the Lions, Thielen had crossed the 1,000-yard mark. He became the first Vikings receiver to do that since Sidney Riceback in 2009. On December 19, 2017, Adam Thielen was named to his first Pro Bowl. The kid from Detroit Lakes, the Division II product, the undrafted free agent who spent a year on the practice squad, a Pro Bowler. He was also named second-team All-Pro that season. He finished with 91 catches for 1,276 yards. The Vikings went 13-3, won the NFC North, and advanced deep into the playoffs. Y'all know how that postseason ended. The Minneapolis Miracle. That unforgettable last-second touchdown against the Saints in the divisional round. Thielen had 6 catches for 74 yards in that game, doing his part before Stephon Diggs made the play that stunned the world. The Vikings fell in the NFC Championship to Philadelphia, but the season had cemented Thielen as a star, and he was just getting started. In 2018, Thielen opened the season with 8 consecutive 100-yard receiving games, 8 in a row. That is an NFL record for most consecutive 100-yard games to start a season. He finished that year with 113 catches, 1,373 yards, and 9 touchdowns, earning his second straight Pro Bowl selection. He signed a 4-year, $64 million extension in 2019. Not bad for a guy who once made practice squad money. Over 13 NFL seasons, Adam Thielen recorded 704 career receptions for 8,497 yards and 64 receiving touchdowns. He became just the 5th undrafted player since 1967 to reach 8,000 career receiving yards, joining names like Antonio Gates, Rod Smith, and Wes Welker. He ranks in the top 5 in multiple categories in Vikings franchise history. He was a 2-time Pro Bowler, a second-team All-Pro, and a Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. He retired in January of 2026 after finishing his final season with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So what does Adam Thielen's story actually tell us about the NFL? It tells us that the roster bubble is real. Every September, hundreds of players get cut. Most of them disappear. They go home. They find other careers. They never play another snap. But some of them, a very small number, refuse to accept that verdict. They take the practice squad spot. They do the special teams work. They wait for their moment. Thielen's story is not about raw talent alone. There are plenty of talented players who never make it. It is about showing up every single day when nobody is watching. It is about blocking a punt in Week 13 when your whole job is just to be on the field. It is about catching every ball in practice like your career depends on it, because it does. The NFL roster is 53 spots. There are over 1,700 players in the league at any given time. And the gap between the last guy on the roster and the first guy cut is almost nothing. Adam Thielen lived in that gap for years, and then he broke through it. Not everybody gets to be a first-round pick. Not everybody gets the combine invite or the scholarship to a powerhouse program. But if you are willing to grind through the invisible years, if you are willing to prove yourself on special teams before you ever get shot a real offensive snap, if you are willing to bet on yourself when nobody else will, then maybe, just maybe, you can write a story like this one. From Detroit Lakes to the Pro Bowl, from the practice squad to the record books. Adam Thielen, number 19. One of the greatest undrafted players the NFL has ever seen. If you enjoyed this story, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We have got more stories like this one coming. Underdog stories. Roster bubble battles. The guys who made it when nobody thought they could. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.